Hi, this is Praios and I'm a professional gambler. Today I will bring you another nosebleeds poker hand review with an interesting hand that took place between the Polish poker pro Wiktor Malinowski and the Chinese fun player Tan 4-3-1 Xuan. The blinds are 501k with a 2k straddle. But before we jump into the action, please destroy the like button to keep me motivated to search for these big interesting hands for you and to bring my on-point analysis. Let's now jump into the action. Tan, the Chinese, decides to open raise to 4.2k, getting called by Christopher Brewer in the cutoff. If you want to see another hand with his involvement, feel free to check out the video in the info card, in which I represent the biggest pot ever played online with 7 deuce. Wiktor Malinowski on the button decides to squeeze, making it 20k to go. I expect him to do this with a wide range, as he has position and he also wants to get the pot heads up between him and the recreational player Tan. Christopher's range is perceived to be weak because he didn't 3-bet the mark of the table himself, so he will go out of the way often. Wow. Tan even makes it 55k to go. I would expect him to call most of his range and only 4-bet occasionally. Fun players like him usually play to lose pre-flop, loving to see flops but not often put that much money in pre-flop. I would expect his range to be strong. This board hits his perceived range hard. I also like his c-bet size. I also think Wiktor is not a big fan of folding pre-flop, especially not if he gets a good price. I expect him to continue with his entire squeeze range in this spot. On the flop, Tan should expect to have at least some fold equity, as the flop seems to hit his range a lot, because hands that usually 4-bet like ace-king, aces, kings or jacks now made a monster. Malinowski isn't convinced yet, deciding to see a turn, getting great odds. I expect him to have some sort of drawing hand like ace-queen or maybe even queen-10. He could also have made top pair or middle pair. In addition to that, he might have a slow played monster like aces or kings. King-jack certainly can also be in his range. The turn basically brings a blank and Tan decides to shove all in. I expect him to do this with most of his range, all the monsters and also the occasional bluff like 10-9 suited. Now the pot odds of Malinowski got a lot worse, facing almost a pot size bet. I don't want to be in his spot with a hand like Jack-10 or Queens. Wow, he makes the call with only ace-queen high. This seems extremely spewy to me, but Tan also surprises me a lot by showing up with Jack-9 off for middle pair 9 kicker. Seems like my initial read might have been wrong and he's a lot wider in this spot, as you would expect from most recreational players. Without having any more reads on this Chinese guy than the one I got from this hand, we will now take a deeper look into the call of Malinowski. I have to highlight that this will be really speculative, and I think Wiktor most likely has a lot more reads than I have, and he most likely made the call based on his knowledge about his opponent. GTO cannot help us in this spot, as we face a recreational player who never heard about GTO and who will divide a lot from the optimal play. So if we play against him, we have to add some random stuff to the equation based on our reads and try to exploit him by adjusting best to his tendencies. I gave him the following range: all pocket pairs 10s to aces. I also added ace-king and ace-queen, and also all combos of ace-10 suited. In addition to that, I also put in ace-3 suited. I also added some random suited connectors like 5-6, 6-7, 7-8 and queen-10 suited. I also put in all Jack-9, as this is clearly in his range, and also king-queen, but only the suited ones. His range is kind of random, but all we can do is make some assumptions based on the hand we just saw. Maybe he's a lot more spewy like this, or maybe this is the first time he did this and we just saw it randomly. We don't know, we can just make some assumptions based on the limited knowledge we got. Given the range we gave him, we got almost 34% equity. As we only need 30%, Wiktor's call now makes a lot of sense. My assumption that this was Spewy in the first place seems to be incorrect, given the assumptions we made. We are looking for these results when we do analysis, because our first assumption was wrong and we now can adjust our game and play better in the future. Although we have 34% equity against his range, we ran quite unlucky in this hand, because this time we only have 22%, but against his range, as I already said, we should be fine. For his last play with 7 deuce, he got a lot of ridicule for me, but this time he actually seems to be right. He probably won't have the reputation of being one of the best players in the world if things like in the 7 deuce hand happened to him on a regular basis. I suppose that the 7 deuce hand was just a rare exception and that he is not spewy at all normally. I hope you learned something and liked my analysis. If that's the case, please reward my effort with liking this video and also consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. Bye until next time.